He's alive. Forever he shall reign. Oh, he's alive. They crucified him at Calvary, but he rose in victory. He's alive. He's alive. He's alive. He's alive. With all power in his hand. Jesus is alive. He's alive. He's alive. He's alive. With all power in his hand. The Lamb that was slain. He's alive. Forever he shall reign. Oh, he's alive. They crucified him at Calvary, but he rose in victory. He's alive. He's alive. He's alive. He's alive. He's alive. With all power in his hand. Jesus is alive. He's alive. He's alive. He's alive. Whatever you want to say. With all power in his hand. Jesus is alive. He's alive. He's alive. He's alive. With all power in his hand. Jesus is alive. He's alive. He's alive. He's alive. With all power in his hand. The hero of glory, all power and authority. He conquered my enemy and he put them. My Jesus, he rose, glory, all power, authority. He conquered my enemy. He put them. All power, he conquered my enemy. He put them. He's alive. He's alive. He's alive. With all power in his hand. He rose in glory. All power and authority. He conquered my enemy. He put them. Jesus, he rose in glory. And authority, he conquered my enemy. He put them. He rose in glory, all power, authority. He conquered my enemy. He put them. With my feet, he's alive. He's alive. He's alive. With all power in his hand. Jesus is alive. He's alive. He's alive. He's alive. He's alive. All power in his hand. He's alive. He's alive. Good morning, Capri Care family. He is alive. That is from the Easter cantata on Sunday. Good morning, Shannon, Baker, thank you for sharing. Good morning, Lanika. Good morning, Antoinette. Good morning to everybody. Do me a favor. Thank you, Daka, for what you've done. I thank you for liking and tagging some people. Continue to do that. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's build community. Good morning, Stacy. Good morning, Kimberly. Man, last night, Stacy can testify. Bible study last night was on point. Bible book study. Let me get my book. Bible book study was on point last night. Stacy, can you tell them this book right here? It's the truth. And he also has a book called The Jordan Sea Rules. So let me read something to you out of this book. And I promise you, Y'all not gonna push me today like y'all been pushing me. The Lord devises ways of turning difficulties into deliverances, problems into praise. I'll say it again, Rondell. Good morning. The Lord devises ways of turning difficulties into deliverances and problems into praise. Say it one more time. The Lord devises ways of turning difficulties into deliverances and problems into praise. I'm telling you. Woo. It's all about well, it's more than just one thing. Let me say that. It's more than just one thing. And when we're learning to trust God, and we're learning to trust him. I mean, I'm still learning, you're still learning, we're all still learning. He has a way of turning problems into praise. I'm not going to be fake and put on the facade that it doesn't hurt, that pain isn't real, that I have excluded myself from some painful situations, because all of us will experience pain. All of us will experience problem. All of us will experience setback. All of us will experience situations where we really need God to turn our difficulties into deliverances. And we will, as long as we in this shell, we're going to have those difficulties and deliverances, those problems and those praise. So everybody put this in the chat, and we're working on this. We worked on the acrostic last night, Shannon. We worked on the acrostic last night, and we put the word edge. When God brings us to the edge, let me tilt that. When God brings you to the edge, Dacre, EDGE. Everybody put that in the chat. What is the edge? When God brings us to the edge where he turns our difficulties into deliverances. God brings us to the edge where he turns our problems into praise. He brings us to the edge. Everybody shout edge. Good morning, Nicole. The edge is a place where I get to experience a newfound trust in God. Everybody put experience. Yeah. When God brings me to the edge, Nicole, it's a newfound trust in him. I'm grateful for my edges. So come on, women. I'm grateful for my edges. It's a newfound trust. And if it had not been for the difficulty, if it had not been for the edge, I would not experience this newfound trust in him. The letter D. Shannon and Dacre and everybody. Good morning, Michael. It's a place of discipline, and development. Yeah. When God brings me to the edge and I have to learn to trust him at a whole nother level and at a whole nother place, it brings me to a place of discipline and development. You might not think much of this, but to get up every day with Capri Cares, or when you get up with Capri Cares, and when you do Capri Cares, that's a discipline. That's a discipline. You're looking for your soul and your mind to be rewarded when you come to places like this. And I know I'm not the only person that's doing this, but we're doing this as community, and as community, the discipline. One of the things I'm learning is discipline. I'm learning that I have to come to you prepared. So God brings us to the edge for discipline, not to hurt us, but to help us, not to hurt us, but to hope us, not to harm us. He brings us to the edge for development and discipline. Thirdly, he brings me to the edge, and we didn't put that, but we can put these two words for growth, and so I can stay guarded. Everybody shout growth and guarded. So let's pause. You already know how successful people grow, since it's have to hold it way back here. How they grow. We on chapter 4 all this month. And I'm growing, Dacre, because in how to set aside time to reflect. Do you schedule time to pause and reflect? That's a yes or no question. Do you and I schedule time to pause and reflect? So on yesterday, of course, Stacy and I have our reflection of the week, and we do our pausing around 4:35, 4:36, 4:37. I already know that is a guarded time for Stacy and I to plan, to pause, to reflect, to think. So I know at least once a week I set aside time to reflect. So I'm asking you yes or no, and that's just a yes or no question. Do you set aside time to pause and reflect? Because if you are not setting aside time to pause and setting aside time to reflect, where's my mic? I can cut that up a little bit. Yes. And I think I will. If you're not setting aside time to pause and reflect, um, you, ma'am and sir, are missing out. And I need to grow. And as I begin to grow, cut that down a little bit, Shannon. As I begin to grow, I'm going to spend more time in reflection. And reflection is a module of thinking that we talked about all last year. So when God brings us to the edge, it's a place of growth. It's a place to be guarded, to guard my mind. Listen, I'm learning. There are times in my life where I have to guard me from my own mind. I literally have to guard me from my own mind. You say, Pastor, what are you? How do you think about it? If you do everything your mind gives you opportunity to do, there literally might not be a you, excuse me. The you that you are is the result of the new you. Let me say that. The new you is the result of guarding your mind and guarding you from your mind, because you can have some seeds planted in your mind. And I've learned this, Shannon, that I can forfeit the joy of tomorrow. Listen, I can forfeit the joy that I can experience tomorrow from allowing my mind to be trapped in yesterday. My mind can stay trapped in Wednesday, and I'm forfeiting the joy of Friday. Today is gone because my mind. So I gotta find a way to get my mind back on track. So I set aside that time to reflect. And when I'm setting aside that time to reflect, I'm encouraging. We're still encouraging one another. And then the last E, you evolve. You keep evolving. You keep growing. Things start happening in your life, and you start sharing this with other people who can be blessed and benefited by what you are offering. Good morning, Zenobia. Yeah, you do, Zenobia. We forfeited. Zenobia, Zenobia, this is crazy. I was up teaching one time, and an image of The Capri Club, just a visual image of the club just popped up. Something that I have not experienced in 30 plus years. Just popped up. It's like, what? My mind was taking back, but the momentum that I was in was moving me forward. So now I was in a Lot's wife predicament. Do I turn back because of the deliverance that I'm experiencing and the freedom? Or do I keep moving forward? So, hey, when God brings you to the edge, just had to throw that out there, Snoopy. It's new experiences we find, discipline, development, guarded growth, and we get to evolve. Thank you, Shannon. That's good right there. I'm growing. And how do you know you're growing, Snoop? Because he said, he that has begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. Now, I've worked enough to know that when you working with people, you got to show up for the work. When you're walking with people, you have to show up for the work. When you're working with people, excuse me, you have to show up for the work. So you showed up today for the work. Mark chapter 2. Let's get into this Bible real fast. 2 points. Thank God he's working on me. Mark chapter 2. After they let the man down in the presence of Jesus, Jesus forgives him of his sins. He says, your sins are forgiven. Point number 1. You can discharge your burden. Everybody shout, discharge your burden. And here's what I miss, Zenobia, in the preaching of this passage. When they finally got the man to Jesus, that's when they could let go. There was no need of them holding on to the man when he was at the place to be healed. That might be somebody's word, Nicole, today. When you know you've gotten them to Jesus, let go. Come on, just let go. Let go. Yeah, when you've gotten them to the place and the point, just let go. And I know that that's difficult for a lot of us. That's difficult for a lot of us. That is really difficult. You can discharge your burdens when you get them to Jesus. I needed it too, Zenobia. I needed that too. And oftentimes, I do not trust letting go when I need to trust letting go. I have to trust the letting go. Can somebody put that in the chat? I have to learn to trust the letting it go. Number 2, once you discharge your burden, you can discover your blessing. Jesus looks up and sees the men and what they have done to get their friend to him. He said, their faith. Thank God for the faith of people to get a broken and bent me. That is really difficult. To Jesus. Thank God for the faith of people that has carried me, the broken and bent me to Jesus. Therefore, I can trust hands. Close with this. The other day, one of the ministers at the church took a pair of glasses and cleansed them for someone else. And I saw after what he done for that individual, I asked him to do the same for me. I'm going somewhere. After what I seen him do for another individual, I asked him to do the same thing for me. After I seen him do it for another individual, I asked him to do it for me. When you see God do it for somebody else, come on, y'all. Let's go to church. Ask him, Rondia, just to do it for you. And the songwriter said, Lord, do it for me. He took my glasses, did what he did for them, and now he did it for me. And I'm grateful today that there's no secret what God can do. What he's done for others, he'll do for you. It's Capri cares. Know that I care, and care that I know. Y'all go be great today, because it's a great day to be great. Peace and blessings.